Are you grinding away hours at your job but still find your bank account lacking? We know the feeling. One of our friends, Elijah, was in the same boat, working all day but not getting anywhere financially. Today, we're diving into 5 reasons why you're still living paycheck to paycheck, how Elijah changed his life to escape the paycheck cycle, and how you can do the same. Welcome to Financer, your one-stop for business, finance, and wealth creation. This video will be the financial turning point you've been waiting for, so let's get right into it. Reason 1. Ignoring financial literacy. You know what Elijah's first mistake was? Ignoring financial literacy. He thought terms like assets, liabilities, and investment portfolios were just jargon for Wall Street folks. But one day, he stumbled upon a personal finance book in a friend's house. Out of curiosity, he started reading it and soon enough, realized he had been living in ignorance. Imagine navigating through a dark forest without a compass or map. That was Elijah's relationship with money. He was earning, spending, and occasionally saving, but he didn't understand the basic principles of money management. He couldn't tell you the difference between Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, let alone how compound interest worked. But when he took the time to educate himself, it was like the fog lifted. He started understanding the implications of credit scores, the importance of a balanced investment portfolio, and how debt could be a useful tool if managed wisely. Financial literacy is a goddamn necessity, especially in today's world where financial pitfalls are around every corner. He didn't stop at just reading one book either. Elijah delved into podcasts, YouTube channels like ours, and even took a few online courses. He empowered himself with knowledge, and this led to smarter financial decisions. Soon, Elijah found himself not just saving more money, but also investing wisely, building a more secure future for himself and his family. So guys, the journey from ignorance to enlightenment wasn't overnight, but it was extremely transformative. Elijah went from being clueless about his money and to becoming his own financial advisor. Now, he's even sharing his newfound knowledge with his family, helping them navigate their financial journeys. The lesson here is simple. Financial literacy is not a nice to have. It's a must have. It's your shield in the financial battlefield that life inevitably is. By choosing to educate himself, Elijah didn't just change his relationship with money. He changed his life. And you can do so too. Moving to the second reason why you're still broke. You have no idea how to budget, and you think budgeting isn't important. You have no idea, my friend. Elijah's was just like you. He was just like captain of a ship sailing without a compass, all while convincing himself that he knew where he was headed. Elijah used to keep mental notes about his expenses, rough estimates of how much was coming in and how much was going out. But let me tell you something. He was far from accurate. It wasn't until he sat down one day and meticulously went through his bank statements, his receipts, and even his digital transactions that the reality hit him like a ton of bricks. There were leaks in his financial boat, small and unnoticed, yet substantial enough to keep him from reaching his financial goals. Sure, it felt tedious at first, listing down all of his income sources, tallying them up against his expenditures. But the moment he began to use the budgeting app, everything changed. He could see where every dollar was going, and more importantly, where he could save. It was like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, all those little expenses that he thought were insignificant appeared clearly before him. Things like daily coffee runs, unused subscriptions, and frequent dine-outs were draining his wallet far more than he'd imagined. And that's the magic of having a concrete budget. It's not about restricting yourself. It's about empowering yourself. With a budget, Elijah could plan for future expenses, eliminate wasteful spending, and allocate funds for things that actually matter to him. He found himself not only saving money, but also feeling more in control of his life. If you don't have a budget yet, you're basically navigating your financial life with a blindfold on. Just like Elijah, you too can take control of your financial destiny. But you have to be willing to do the work. Grab a notebook, download a budgeting app, or use a simple spreadsheet. No more flying blind. Open your eyes to the reality of your finances and watch how your life transforms. Now that you're getting a handle on managing your money, let's move on to other often overlooked reasons that can literally pay off big time. Reason number 3, not negotiating salary. You see, Elijah was one of those employees who was excellent at his job, consistently outperformed his colleagues, and was always the first to arrive and the last to leave. But when it came to advocating for himself financially, he'd suddenly become a wallflower. He'd accept whatever was offered to him, assuming that if he deserved more, his bosses would automatically give it to him. Sounds familiar? Elijah believed that his hard work would speak for itself, that it would magically translate into a bigger paycheck at the end of the month. But the corporate world doesn't work that way, my friends. It wasn't until he watched a motivational video that he realized he was leaving money on the table. Money that he deserved and earned, but wasn't claiming. Inspired by the pep talk, Elijah finally plucked up the courage to arrange a meeting with his manager. He came prepared, not just with the nerves of steel, but with the concrete data. Years of performance reviews, a list of successful projects he'd led, and market research indicating what someone with his skills should be earning. Guess what happened? He didn't just get a polite nod. He got that raise. And it wasn't just a victory. It was like hitting a financial jackpot. That extra income didn't just pad his wallet. It boosted his confidence, gave him greater sense of worth, and yes, it helped him break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. The lesson here is crystal clear. Understand your worth and don't shy away from those uncomfortable salary conversations. You're not being greedy or demanding. You're asking for what you rightfully deserve. Negotiating your salary is like investing in yourself. So arm yourself with knowledge, build up that courage, and go claim what's yours. Because like Elijah, you might be just one conversation away from changing your financial destiny. And if you want to be perfectly equipped to do that, watch our video, 5 Reasons Why You Haven't Gotten a Raise Yet, after you finish this one. So after you've negotiated your well-deserved salary raise, what then? Well, certainly you don't want to squander it away, right? That brings us to reason 4, peer pressure spending. Elijah was a social guy, always up for a good time. His friends loved dining at the city's trendiest restaurants, hitting the most exclusive clubs and jetting off for spontaneous weekend getaways. And because he didn't want to feel left out or miss any experiences, he went along for the ride, even when he knew he couldn't really afford it. You see, peer pressure spending is a silent budget killer. It sneaks up on you before you know it. You've blown through half your monthly budget on things that aren't adding any real value to your life. Elijah realized he was essentially paying for a premium of the fear of missing out. The turning point for him came when he started being honest with himself and his friends. Instead of agreeing to another expensive night out, he suggests more budget-friendly alternatives. And you know what? His real friends didn't care. They were happy to spend time with him regardless of the venue or the price tag. Your genuine friendships are not going to dissolve if you decline an invitation for something you can't afford. The day Elijah started living within his means and not according to societal or peer expectations, he took a significant step towards gaining control over his finances. If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, remember, it's perfectly fine to say, "Sorry, that's not in my budget right now." Now that we've talked about the importance of setting boundaries when it comes to spending, let's go to another critical aspect of your financial well-being. It's not just about what you're saving or spending. It's also about what you're earning while not actively working. Elijah was climbing up the corporate ladder, but he was missing out on an essential financial strategy. Let's dive into reason 5, overlooking passive income. You might think that Elijah, being a hard worker, would have his finances all figured out. Well, that's half true. He was diligent in his 9-to-5 job, took on extra hours when he could, and even climbed up the corporate ladder. But despite all of this, he still found himself living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because, like most people, Elijah subscribed to the one-job mantra. One job to pay the bills, one job to build the 401k, one job to achieve financial security. The idea of having money work for him was entirely foreign. He was so caught up in the cycle of working, earning, and spending that he overlooked the incredible power of passive income. That all changed when Elijah started educating himself about investing. Initially skeptical and cautious, he began by investing small amounts into a diversified portfolio. Stocks, bonds, real estate, slowly but surely, his investments started to grow. What was once a tiny side hustle started to become a significant revenue stream. The transformative moment was when he received his first dividend payment. It was a eureka moment. Money had come in without him having to actively work for it. And the beauty of it is that passive income is like a snowball. It may start small, but it accumulates over time, getting bigger and bigger as it rolls down the hill. Elijah's lesson to us all is this. Do not rely solely on your 9-to-5 job for financial security. Start exploring ways to create multiple streams of income. Your money can and should work for you, even when you're not actively managing it. Diversify your income, and you'll not only accelerate your journey out of the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, but you'll also give yourself a financial safety net that many people only dream of. So now, because you stayed until the end, we have a bonus point for you. Reason number 6, why you're still living paycheck to paycheck is you don't set financial goals. First off, a big shout out to those of you who have stuck around until the end of this video. It shows you're serious about breaking free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Let me break it down. Setting financial goals is like installing a GPS for your money. You know where you are, you set your destination, and then the GPS guides you on how to get there, step by step. Suddenly, Elijah had a roadmap, a way to escape the financial rut that had kept him confined for so long. He started simple, setting short-term goals like saving for a vacation or paying off a particular debt. Then he progressed to medium-term goals like accumulating enough for a down payment on a house. And finally, long-term objectives like retirement planning came into the picture. The more he got into it, the more motivated he became. But here's the kicker. Having financial goals made it easier for Elijah to make decisions. Should he go out for dinner or cook at home? The answer depended on how it aligned with his financial goals. Should he buy that shiny new gadget or invest the money instead? Again, it all came back to his roadmap. By setting goals, Elijah was not just managing his money, he was managing his future. And you can do the same. Take some time to sit down and write out what you want to achieve financially. Whether it's getting out of debt, buying a home, or retiring early, whatever it is, put it on paper and make a plan. Believe me, when you have a financial GPS, not only do you know where you're going, you get there faster than you ever thought possible. If you need some guidance, we have a video for that as well. So, financiers, Elijah turned his financial life around by taking these critical steps. What about you? Are you ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck? If you got value from this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more life-changing tips.